What's up, guys? E7 Velocity Blue Ford. It's a tri-stage blue. Pretty much doing the whole side of the truck. It's only a repair on the driver's door. It's a brand new door, brand new bedside, brand new fender. I've pretty much already prepped the new parts and got them already in the booth. I'm going to be using UV primer. I made a few other repairs on the door as well, just like rock chips or whatnot. I'm probably throw a little bit of primer on those. I'm gonna end up painting the whole door because it's a new door on the back and a new fender, and there's no sense of blending in the middle. So I'm gonna just go ahead and paint this whole door and just basically paint the whole side of this truck. So let's get to it. So first things first, gonna hit it with some wax and grease remover, just to make sure my tape and primer sticks. You wanna make sure your panel's covered really well, and you wanna make sure you have a microfiber rag to wipe it off with. I prefer using wax and grease remover outside the booth as much as possible, so I only have to use the waterborne in the booth. But sometimes I do have to bring it in the booth and use it. So if you're not going to pay attention to your panel enough, I suggest you do it in the booth as well. This is a tape caddy from Collision Edge. You sell it at the spray source and on Amazon. You're going to get a little bit of taping action going on here. Alrighty, that's all taped up. We grab our 9002, which is our UV primer for Spies, Hector, Axalta. We have a 3M primer gun and their UV tinted PPS cup, so it could just sit in my PPS cup and I just give it a quick shake for a couple of minutes and I can spray it. It's a lot easier than mixing 2K and it's a lot faster. I don't have to bake it. I don't have to wait a day for it to dry. It'll take about a minute. Each translucent, you give it like a translucent coat. Each coat, give about 3 coats, and it's only a minute cure each coat, so it's super fast. Then I grab some 320 on a block. Hit over those cut throughs and a little bit of mud just to make sure it doesn't ring out when you put base on it. Whenever you block, you want to make sure you go in both directions, forward and backwards, right and left, up and down. You just want to make sure the spot is as flat as possible, and to do that, you have to hit it in all directions pretty much. I had a few rock chips that I had basically feathered out with 800, but I still like throwing a little bit of primer over it, especially since it's just UV and it's so quick. It's more like, why not? So I throw a little bit primer over the little chips that I feathered out. Then I grab 600 on a block and I just block them down real quick. I like to block everything, make sure it's all flat as possible, at least whatever I touch. It just makes my job come out that much better. I throw on some guide coat for the 320 scratches. Then I grab 500 grit and make sure I get all those scratches out. And you just want to sand until you don't see the guide coat anymore. it's pretty fast sometimes on the primer. I find that the scratches on the part that's not primered you have to work that area a little bit more, but it's usually a quick process. But you just want to make sure you pay really good attention that there's no deep scratches or any black guide coat left, because you'll be able to see that when your base or metallic falls in there and it doesn't sit right, or when you clear it and your clear shrinks, and it'll show the scratches later on. Alrighty, when we're pretty much finished with that, we're gonna give it a quick blow job, make sure we're hitting all the cracks and crevices. Grab some spray glass cleaner, best glass cleaner out there. You have to use glass cleaner without ammonia if you want to use glass cleaner. And again, I always say this in all my videos, I use glass cleaner because it's a cheaper method than using waterborne and wax and grease remover all the time. My shop think I'm the best painter in the world because I save them so much money, but in all reality, it's just, it helps me be a better painter because I can get better quality using microfibers and glass cleaner, and they think that I'm just the best painter for saving money, so it's like a win-win. So once I get that all wiped down, I tape it up. Our door is pretty easy to tape, so if you ever need any taping tutorials, just let me know. But you just have to, it doesn't have to be pretty. You just need to cover up what you don't want paint on. It's super self-explanatory, so you just figure out the best way as you go. You know, sometimes you get a little bit overspray on a different panel. You just wipe it off with some lacquer thinner and keep it moving. We're gonna grab our stack gun, because after we tack off our project, you use a stack gun because the tacking process often creates static electricity, which attracts dust and like microparticles, so you don't want none of that. Using some 410A 1K etch primer for the cut throughs. Whenever using canned primers, always want to make sure they get a good shaking. Never up and down, you kind of want to do a side to side action, but as long as you shake it right. Using my 1500B solve for this sealer. A lot of people are probably gonna hate me for this, but this is a waterborne sealer and this gun is for solvents. But I just love the way it really atomizes this 5650 waterborne sealer from Spies Hector really well. I'm not a big fan of how some of the other guns shoot sometimes, just when it's really low humidity. It seems silly, but it just, as long as it works right, you'll see the finished product. I mean, it really lays my sealer down really nice, and that's the best way to get the best paint job, is to start from the base. You know what I mean? The very ground bottom has to be as smooth as possible, and the rest will come out smooth. For base coat, I'm using the Lumaiii Exodus 1.3 tip. This gun works well with waterborne and solvent paints. We're using Spies Hector Axalta High Tech. So this is a coat and a half, wet on wet. And we're shooting it at about 26 PSI. No reason in particular to coat the best eye halfway. It was just pretty long, and with the low humidity, I was afraid that the first section would dry before I got a chance to orientate it, and that would create mottling or blotchiness. So I went ahead and just did the first section, or the first half of the bedside, and then finished off with the second half. Whenever you paint the inside of panels, like hoods and doors, sometimes they can be a bit dark, and the Sun Pro light from the Lumaiii 3 company really comes in clutch, takes the guesswork out of painting. You don't have to worry about if it's covered or not. So once that's all dehydrated, because this is waterborne paint, we grab our green Centaur tack rag. Make sure we pull it apart to activate the tackiness, and we give our base coat a good wiping. Make sure we wipe off any extra dust or overspray or metallics that didn't sit correctly. Then, like I said before, when you tack, it creates that static charge. So you have to grab your stack gun and go ahead and give your panel a quick blow. That just helps you fight that invisible enemy. And it helps your clear coat come out a little bit cleaner. For a clear coat, we use the Lumaiii Exodus 1.5 tip for a tinted blue clear, and I have my Cytojet 5500 RP 130 tip for the regular clear. You always have to put regular clear over tinted clear because of the fact that tinted clear fades. It's not UV protected. After doing my spray out, this seemed to look really well with just one coat of tinted clear, so I just ran with it. And that's pretty much it after 2 coats of Spies Hector 8600 High Solids Optimum Clear. Appreciate you for watching. If you made it this far, go ahead and like and subscribe. It would help a brother out. If not, I wouldn't hate you for it.